All right, and welcome to the Wheelchair Gardener. We are at Able Bodied headquarters, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of my wonderful wheelchair accessible garden. So, yeah, just to be clear, I am in a wheelchair, and I've designed a garden that is accessible and easily maintained by somebody in a wheelchair. We can quickly start over here by my raised self-watering planter that I got from Costco. I think this was about 150 bucks. What's awesome about this is you fill up the water and it has a reservoir at the bottom that keeps the plants properly hydrated, which is definitely one of the big challenges when growing any vegetation. This is my green leaf lettuce. You could see this massive sunflower. Hopefully it comes across real cool. I'm recording this on Vision Pro, Apple Vision Pro, which hopefully will give a nice little 3D effect on this flower. We're just testing it out here at Able Bodied to see if it can be useful. You can see I have lettuce, sunflower, dill, and one strawberry. I actually have 4 different methods I'm growing the strawberries on. I have one over here. As I roll over, you can see our hand cycle. By the way, at Able Bodied, we also provide free electric assist and manual hand cycling lessons. This is the top end XLT that I plan to bring to the Day at the Lake on Saturday, May 11th. And here we have our our hydroponic strawberry planter. I got this on Amazon for about 60 bucks. I planted, I think, about 40 strawberry plants. It can handle up to 54, I think. As you could see, I have a bucket with my nutrient solution that pumps water into here, which then flows through this system and provides nutrients to all the strawberries. So we'll see how this goes. This is the first time I'm trying hydroponics. One cool thing about this that I could imagine doing if this works out is I might raise these feet so that this bed is about this high, in which case I'll be able to actually roll underneath it. So if I need to pick some strawberries or do some more plantings, it'll be a lot easier than having to lean over and do that. Although that's not too bad either. And the cool thing about this is there's no dirt. You can actually do this indoors. So this is actually a really cool method that I'm exploring over here. The next strawberry method is right here. This is my vertical grow tower. I got this on Amazon for about 35 bucks. I think it's really great. I'll have links to these things in the description if anybody's interested. And the cool thing about this is in 1 square foot of space, you can grow 20 strawberry plants. And the other cool thing about it is you just water the top 2 levels, and as the water seeps through, and again, the key with any plant is you don't want to overwater, otherwise the roots don't have the ability to breathe. The water just drips down into the level below, and it basically filters down to the dish below. I think this is a very popular setup for a vertical hydroponic system as well. You could place this on top of the bucket and have the reservoir in the bucket and then just pump the water to the top and it keeps flowing through. That might be something we experiment with later. But for now, I actually planted this in actually a custom mix that I put together for strawberries. That's 30% mini pine bark, 30% fine gravel, 10% peat moss, 10% compost, 10% soil, and 10% perlite. It was recommended on the site where I got these bare root strawberries. Here we have a blueberry we're going to plant out front. I'll do a separate video for the front yard. And that brings us to the 4th method that we're planting and growing strawberries, which is in a traditional raised garden bed. I had this garden bed put together with some recycled wood from a deck that we had in the back of the pool. It's really nice because it's level with my wheelchair, so it's very easy for me to just lean over, and if I need to pick any weeds or do anything, I can do so easily. And this is also nice because I installed this cover, so we have a lot of squirrels in this yard. If they start hankering for my strawberries, I'll just cover this up. I need to patch up the back area there, so make sure they can't get through that hole. But this should probably keep most of the birds and squirrels away from my strawberries. In the back, you can see I have some nice sunflowers growing. Actually, in both the back and the front, you'll be able to see that I have these Ouya watering spikes. They are really cool because they're made out of terracotta, which is permeable to water. and supposedly they are releasing water at just the right rate. They're not gonna drench the roots and make them eventually rot, but they're also gonna keep them hydrated because they're attached to a reservoir. And the cool thing about these bottles is they're really easy to fill up in a wheelchair. I actually have a little bucket. I'll have a little video on this in a short while. I fill them up. I go and fill these up at the tap, which is really easy in a wheelchair, and I bring them back, and my plants are watered. In fact, I have these same spikes in all of my grow bags, which is another technique that I think is really great. Super cheap. You can get, I don't know, 10 of these grow bags for, I think, under 20 bucks on Amazon. And Temu has them as well, even cheaper if you like Temu. And the nice thing about them is you could place them anywhere. You could place them on concrete. I have actually a whole series of them on the other side of the house on concrete. And the nice thing then is it's really easy to just roll up to them and do whatever you need. I have a little trellis system, I guess, with some twine that I'm hoping to train these tomatoes up, and I'll basically be rolling up to them and picking my tomatoes as they grow out. I can't wait for that. And that brings us to a second garden bed. This one is a little bit lower. It is a little bit different to gardening. What I do is I actually lean over, and once I lean over, I'm right up next to all the veggies and the ground, and it's very easy for me to, pick weeds or train my tomato up the little twine. And I have the Ouya spike watering system here hooked up to my drip irrigation, so I don't have to fill them up manually. This is kind of another experiment to see what happens. One other cool technique that I'm trying out is I did this last year and this worked out really well. I have these worm towers in each of my garden beds, and these things are filled with just all of our table scraps and stuff, and there's a bunch of worms in here. I don't know if you could tell. They usually hide in the day, it's too hot. But I have some shredded paper on top. This is kind of to keep the moisture in, and also to provide some carbon. You want to have 50% carbon, 50% nitrogen. So all your table scraps have a bunch of nitrogen, and the paper has a bunch of carbon, and that keeps the worms happy. And as they, actually in the heat of the day, it's quite warm today, they'll go through, there's some holes I drilled into this and into this corrugated pipe, and they can crawl out, go and fertilize my soil, my plants, especially this passion fruit, which I just planted last year. So this is testament to the fertility of my soil, which hopefully is helped by the compost. This passion fruit has grown all the way across my yard, and you can see it's stretching out over there. It's gonna hopefully stretch out to that speaker. It's gonna be about 50, 60 feet. So hopefully by the end of the summer, we'll have it all the way to the end there. And I'll keep giving updates and maybe detailed videos on these different techniques. We'll see which one works, which one doesn't. One of the things I love about gardening is it's a great way to run experiments. I'll try to be a little bit more meticulous in my note-taking and things. This is not a forte of mine, but I'm hoping to note these things down, keep a Google Doc going, and hopefully we could all learn together. And if you have any questions, or if you're interested in learning how to set up a garden that's wheelchair accessible, just go to www.ablebodied.org. We will offer hand cycling lessons as well as garden tours for free, of course, to anybody in the community. With the gardening stuff, it's easy to do remotely. I could even imagine doing lessons over chat, and I think I can chat with this Vision Pro. So maybe if we end up keeping it, we'll use that for doing our virtual lessons. And I'm happy to answer any questions or just even discuss gardening. I think I found a new passion of mine, so I'm hoping to share that with everybody, and we'll keep you updated. By the way, I recorded the similar video on my GoPro, so please check out the other gardening video and let me know if you think one is better than the other. Do I need to purchase this $3,500 Vision Pro to make more engaging 3D gardening videos, or if the GoPro is sufficient? I'm kind of thinking the latter, but maybe this could be cool. And again, this could be a device that we use for other things, such as maybe virtual reality, engaging lessons. Maybe people that are afraid of hand cycling to more dangerous places can just pop on this headset. I'll record some videos of me going up some fire roads, things like that, and this might be another use case. So this is going to be hopefully a new series of videos for Able Bodied. I think we're going to put them on a separate channel, the Wheelchair Gardener. I really like that name, and hopefully we can spread the word that, you know what, just because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean you can't garden. All right, I'll talk to you later.